in the door, she comes in the door. So
Phone system doesn't work because the office assistant is out.
That's why I'm saying. That might be true. But I'm gonna have leave. I'm gonna leave.
We are live.
I have a little.
Okay, 5:31. We'll open up the meeting. Linda, please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the city council meeting this evening. As usual, I'll call for an approval of the meeting minutes of our special call meeting that has been distributed beforehand. Have a motion? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you very much. First order of business after that, youth voice writing contest winner. Do we have Calvert?
He's not here tonight, but he is a ninth grader at McCracken County High School. He enjoys playing the guitar, piano. He also plays chess and basketball. And he had a wonderful story. It's called This I Believe. It's on our website if you want to go on and check it out. And it'll be in the link use this one. His name is Skylar Ford.
Skylar Ford.
SKLER.
Okay, and so this is another inaugural award, I do believe, for the Yard of the Season winner. And I see Mr. Cameron Brown is in attendance. So Cameron, you want to come up? And I will let Miss Blair do the honor.
Oh no, it's all you.
It's all me. It's all me.
So this is the first time for this. So it's exciting. We had 8 entries, and I don't know if you guys know where Cameron lives, but his yard is absolutely beautiful. You can tell that he takes care of it and he appreciates. We definitely appreciate his hard work.
What's the address?
I walk around in it barefoot. the other night.
It's a street after a while.
Yeah.
Rural Park.
Royal Park, that's right.
Royal Park.
You'll be able to pick it out. It was a very tough competition between brothers, though, I will say.
Well, we knew who was going to win.
And
I will.
they live on the same street, so I'm sure you'll be able to tell which one it is. Can you come get a picture?
I will come get a picture, but first off, it's sponsored by the Jeter Group. In addition to the bragging rights and the sign, the Jeter Group has sponsored a $100 gift certificate. So put your money where your mouth is, and he's going to up the game with $100 from Holly, gift certificate from Holly Nursery. And so we certainly appreciate it. And so when's the next judging? We're going to judge in July.
Yeah, July 3rd, I think.
Okay, does he have to go to hand deliver that sign to the next winner, or how's that work?
No, that's.
Okay.
Can we get a picture with you
Who
guys?
wants to get the mug shot over here?
He matches the sign. Look at that.
Is he the same too? Is it all that?
Look, he's
Or
the
it's
same.
just-
He's the same. He's not small. He's the same color as the sign.
One here, and then two.
Are you talking about the way he's dressed today?
Yes, he coordinates with the sign. Cameron, how'd you plan that?
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Can I hit golf? Can Ryan hit golf balls in it?
He just gives the button.
All right.
All right, that was fun. Okay. So the next on the agenda is old business. We don't have anything listed specifically, but I think we've got some old business out there that we want to talk about. I'm on the spot here. We're going to talk about some stuff. It's old business / budget business. And we need to get some information together on the inquiry of, turn it over to you. Putting forth a grant idea and
Oh, but yeah, I talked to
to put forth the grant idea as far as trying to offer a grant. And I told John, my thoughts were like $1,000 that we could put there and use that for a generator or some kind of storm disaster preparation that we could have. I don't really know the wording quite yet. And then if we could address this in the budget, also decide if maybe some of that money could be used to do some kind of a housing grant. Blair had some ideas on that. I've also been in contact with a lady that does a lot of municipal grants, and she's offered to give me some information and things, and I'm going to be in touch with her tomorrow. And just to make clear, what has got us working on this was the fact that First Baptist Church was needing that generator for the, I don't know if it's me or for, so that they could have the Red Cross approved storm shelter, and they would have the option of having power if something should happen, and we could house part of our citizens. There is a designated account at First Baptist. If anybody in the community would like to donate to that generator fund, then you can do that. All you would have to do is mark generator fund on your check and mail it to First Baptist, and it goes into that designated account. And the other thing that I mentioned about old business last week was, and I think John has got something on that already, that we look into doing something with the old bank building in CADA and get some definite guidelines from CADA what they would like to see and move ahead with that, so that that's just not basically a liability for us. It's just sitting there. We've done nothing with it. So we have done something with it, but we haven't done anything that would open up to the public for us.
How much money did you say you got for the grant? What's 1,000 or 10,000?
We haven't done the budget yet, but what I asked John to put in the budget for grants in general was 100,000
For proposed amount.
for proposed amount.
So of course, these are ideas that go into the budget workshop, which we will be trying to set up a date for that as part of today's meeting. On the shelter, I was mainly focusing on the shelter part of it. We have two organizations in the city that already have some status with Red Cross. Okay. And so Red Cross actually gave it a very nice presentation to the CAT team this last month, and kind of made clear on some of the things they're doing there. So the idea of trying to come up with a grant process would be, linked to the budgetary. So we'd budget it first, and then we'd have to go through and make sure we were doing everything legally and have it all sold up, so we can include it in the budget at some level.
And there's some, we're trying to work this out it would be available to numerous entities if they had the space to have a shelter. But specifically, because Pathway at one time we thought was one of the other Red Cross ones, and I think Altona maybe as well. But I did talk to Mike Donald the other day in a meeting, and they are available for the convalescent center should there be a major disaster or something, that they will be there. And he had nothing but support for us trying to do the other. So Red Cross recognizes both those organizations, and for whatever reason, the contact at Owensboro didn't have Altona there per se, but I know that representatives of Altona think that they should be there. So that's something to be reconciled between those two organizations. So we're the point being is, in the budgetary process, we can set aside some money and see if we can figure out a way to get a grant program working to help with some community partnerships moving forward there. Any other old business we need to pick up on? We had that'd be new business though. Okay. Well, with that said, I'll move on to new business. There's one in particular we have to deal with is setting up the time frame for a budget workshop. We typically do stuff like that at the end of the session. We were expecting a visitor tonight to talk about. We have a handout for council, I think, on sirens.
Unfortunately, Mr. Boggs couldn't make it. Since both his kids are sick, so he's taking care of them this evening. So
But what he had talked with me, earlier or late, or one day last week, in which his concern and what they've been concerned about was the fact that we sound the sirens for thunderstorms. And it doesn't matter if the thunderstorm's in Calvert, or if the thunderstorm is in Hardin, they sound all the sirens for a thunderstorm. Now, there's actually apparently 3 different categories, or tag categories as they call it. You'll see that on your handout of thunderstorms. And what he's proposing, and I think that what they're going to do is they're not going to activate the sirens until we have a destructive, or the more major of the group. And that way we're not getting everybody incensed or complacent with the sirens. And that way they're only sounding for the more serious stuff like tornadoes and the destructive thunderstorms, not just a little thunder shower that's coming through. And so that's what I've been told that they're going to move towards.
Tom, have you noticed that sometimes those sirens aren't sounding until the storm's already passed us by?
Well, so the sirens are sounded by 911. So it really, I think it depends on when they get the signal. It's not, they're not activated by National Weather Service like Code Red is. You also notice that a lot of times we get sirens, but we don't get it Code Red. Well, that just tells you you're not in that area. The siren is telling you one thing, but the Code Red will tell you something else. Eventually, what they're moving towards and what they wanted to move toward is to polygon with National Weather Service the sirens, so that when they do go off, it will be much like your Code Red. It'll be going off because you are affected, not because it's somewhere in the county. And that's what they're working towards.
I certainly hope so.
Well, they're,
Right now at my house, it's a big deal inside. Our sirens are the exact same sound as their sirens. So I got a 6-year-old little boy, I've got a siren down at the end of my driveway.
I understand.
well, right now, they have the dispatchers, the whole county, any part of the county, that's the protocol, that's what's in place. And as far as the timing of that sounding, the weather service has to get out in front of it. And the same will be with polygons. I mean, if they do the polygon shape, they've got to be out in front too. The technology exists to do that now, and it comes with a price tag. We'll have to change the protocol on each individual siren location. We'll have to have some communication differences so they can sound them off individually, because right now it's all or nothing with that frequency. And so that they're at the county level, they had talked to me on a prior occasion, and there was a price tag on that, and trying to figure out how they were going to get that going. So that's something that I think us as Calvert City should be I'm very much in favor of figuring out a way to do that. And I believe everybody I've talked to has been. So hopefully we can get there, but we can't, I can't overemphasize enough on Code Red. Anybody who's listening, if you are not actively on Code Red on your cell phone or your house phone, take a minute, go to Calvert City's website, and we've got instructions how to do it on our website, don't we? Yeah. Get that done. Just get it done. And you register your phone against a geographic location. And more and more parts of the country, I mean, I hate to plug a commercial product. That's one that we personally buy into. It's one that the county buys into. And so take advantage of it. Put your addresses there. And, even if you have an address that's away from here, you can do some investigation in adjacent counties or something. There's, it's a private company. I don't mean to give them a plug, and they have some competitors. But you can find a way to get a phone activation with a geographic location in our country. So hopefully this is something to look forward to. They're going to make a call if you don't get that destructive tag, and we don't know when they're going to make that change.
Not exactly.
Okay. So it's something that they've been talking about for a little bit, but it should make the number of false alarms for. I think that if you look at the statistics, the severe thunderstorm warnings are a lot more frequent than the others, and these higher level ones. So this is a new process by the Weather Service, which is making this possible. Okay, so the dispatcher will be able to see this is a high enough level to sound this thing or not. Don't currently go that way. So I'm sure on the looking into NOAA, you can probably find a lot of detail about that if anybody has any questions. Go in and find out more.
I'll find out when they're actually gonna do that and let you all know as soon as I can find out.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Freeman, you're a visitor. You have a specific thing that you want to bring up, an old business or new business or anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now's the time.
First of all, thank you. And second of all, let me preempt kind of my comments by saying, I've been around Calvert City all my life. I've owned property in Calvert City for over 30 years. My grandparents owned it, my great grandparents owned property here. So I'm proud of what Calvert's done. And I'm not here to complain or fuss about anything, but I am here to bring up an issue that as a property owner is becoming more than I can deal with. That's the amount of water finding its way down on Fifth Avenue, coming through Fifth Avenue. And part of that has been, while these things are all good and I applaud them, but every time we level property and we pave it, that water's got to go somewhere. And the amount of water is coming out, you'll go across the little outlet, I guess we call that under the road, Calvert, down here on Fifth, you'll find that you'll see a white pipe out there. It's actually my sewer pipe, because I've got a lift station on my property, that when I put that in about 20-something years ago, it was 5 to 6 foot on this side of that ditch. And that's how much ditch I've lost down through there. It's getting to the point now where I can't keep it mowed. Now, we gave them property when you did Fifth Avenue, when you brought Fifth Avenue level. I, my parents, and my son did about a 14 or 16 foot of right of way down through there. And at that time, what I was asking for, I had that ditch V where I could keep it mowed. And I asked them to keep the ditch V'd, and then they thought they could. And then what happened was, as they got near to the end of it, they called me and asked me if they could take a track hoe and just caulk that, because they were having trouble. It's pretty flat through there, and they wanted more drainage than they've got. And so I let them do that. The other thing is, you bought property there behind where I live on 199 Industrial Parkway. And Brad's done a great job though.
He got choked up.
He got choked up and had to leave.
He knew you was gonna throw him under the bus.
Yeah, but if you remember, that property, that farm has been in my family a long time. So Councilman Hale will attest to, or Floyd, either one. A lot of that water used to run from that farm area all the way to the railroad track. That's the way the land lay. We played all over that gravel pit back there when I was a kid, and I hunted on it as a teenager. And so we've grown up with that. Well, after we got that property that City Works is on, about everything up there has been cut down level. The road that joins me that comes out there at one time was about the bottom of my fence. It's probably 3 foot, about 3 foot there. Couple of that, yeah. And so I'm just getting so much water. I no longer, as a property owner, can contain that kind of water without it doing enormous damage. I put 3 triaxle loads of busted up concrete in there. I got pieces of concrete in there, I know weigh over 200 pounds, and it's washing them out the other end of it. So what I'm coming for is just to simply ask for your consideration, and how can we cooperate to continue to have the good things we've had, but not to be at the cost of so much damage. I catch water from the country club, I catch water from across the road, water from the Methodist church makes its way onto that property. And then, of course, the latest thing we did was level up some ground up by Civic Center. And so now I've got that water coming down. So why I appreciate everything you've done. And Brad's been a great neighbor. And those guys work hard. So I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to fuss. I'm just here to tell you that I'm sustaining more damage than I, as just one single property owner, can deal with. And I think if we put our heads together, we might could come up with some ideas. I know the city in the last several years has probably put enough concrete up there filling that hole where the guy sold all the dirt off of our. That's probably $2 million worth. So if even that, if I just get some concrete, that's scrap concrete or something that help me where I can contain that. And I probably need to move that sewer line because when that sewer line was run, the one that's now across the ditch toward the four-way stop didn't exist. And so it made its way up on the other side of the ditch, on this side of the ditch, and then went to that second culvert that's about halfway up toward my son's property. But we can move it now. We didn't have a manhole to put it in before we did that renovation to Fifth Avenue and leveled that out.
Mhm.
So I remember Fifth Avenue when it was a gravel road, and so was Councilwoman Hale. And before that, it was a dirt road. And during the works program of the Depression, my grandfather gave them enough gravel out of his old gravel pit to gravel that road. And so it's been a long history there. And so I come from a historical standpoint, because I've owned it for 30 years. Our family's owned it since the late 1800s, but that has never been that kind of water come down there. And then we cleaned out below the ditch to get it so it wasn't backing up so bad. But it's really cutting, like I probably lost 5-6 foot on the other end of that. I have contacted the state and asked them to come out and look at it. I don't think they ever came out, and they never called me back. But it is a problem. We can just work together to solve that. And let's continue to have all the great things we've got in Calvert. I don't want to change anything. I just want to see if we can control that to where it's not that damaging.
Okay. Well, appreciate you coming to the council and appreciate you loving Calvert City and certainly don't like the sorts of things you're describing. I had a good telephone conversation with Mr. Freeman last week about this, and I'm obviously not as familiar with the property as everybody else could be. And Brad and I are going to come down, have committed to coming down and walking it with you and seeing what there is so we can make a proposal and see if I can't make a telephone call to our friends at the state and see if maybe we get them to come down too. But it certainly describes a very important situation we need to take a look at. So I really thank you for coming and sharing it with all of us. You know, the flow of water that we've seen coming out of the Memorial Park area, and that culvert pipe is actually not a pipe, it's a box culvert. And it takes a lot of flow through there. It's a big watershed that comes down, and we've gotten things streamlined and it hits pretty quick. And the rainfall is I think probably, I mean, I don't know historically if we're getting, you know, what it's done to our 100-year rainfall total or even the 500-year, but I have seen it quite vigorous down through there. And at one time saw a car roof underwater at Memorial Park. We were out with a fire call and we saw water across Fifth Avenue for a brief period of time. So that's just hard to imagine when you just look at that little peaceful place, but it gets to be a torrent. And this is the same creek that we've heard Mr. Ross, Chief Ross, talk about it, where it cuts a corner behind his property up there. And it's even more on Mr. Freeman. So Brad and I'll come down and take a look at it, and hopefully we can develop something and come up with something workable. But thank you for your time and coming.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Well, other new business. We'll put John on the spot here again. We had a bid opening for some bridge replacement.
Yeah.
And you want to talk to us about this, and we'll bring it up under new business instead of a normal projects report.
Yeah.
Because this is something that we need to look toward and need to figure out a way to deal with it in the upcoming budget process. So with that said,
We received 2 bids on our bridge replacement. They came in at more than twice what we expected them to be last fall when we did the budget. We put in approximately $600,000 for it. They came in at over 1.2 million, both. In talking with Matt, we were looking at pricing, and of course, everything's up, but asphalt is really up. I mean, last year we were getting asphalt at $75 a ton. Now we're anywhere from a base at 115 to surface at 150 a ton. So almost twice. So that's a lot of it right there. And also in talking with him, he says his recommendation would be, since the bridge is still functional and it's not, and it's still usable, is to shelve it until the asphalt and the other items have a tendency to come back and normalize their cost or their pricing. And he's also recommending that for some other basically asphalt in general for this year anyway, until at least we get these prices back down. Fuel prices are ridiculously high. And it's going to eat up excessive amounts of revenues that, you know, at this point in time, for us to do what we would like to do, just in asphalt type work for the next year or two, we're looking at 1.8 million, and that's probably going to be low. And so this would be back off, do other base work that we need to do, drainage, base, do all that work, put that in, but hold off on your asphalt until after these prices stabilize somewhat.
Any prediction on when that would be? A year or two?
You know, we've had this issue before where the fuel prices were up and everything, and we kind of backed down a little bit, and the prices did come back down. You know, I don't know, they've never been this high before. I'm assuming that it would change eventually. Most everything is cyclic, but I don't know when. I can't say when. You know, I'm not really in that the ability of being able to do that, you know.
When we did that in the budget last year, was, in a sense, wasn't that a little bit of a preemptive measure? They're not likely to close down the bridge or
No, that's
anything.
correct.
We were doing it in all good faith as a preemptive thing.
That's exactly
So
right.
to put it on hold,
Mhm.
we would there, I mean, if it got to the point where structurally that it wouldn't hold this weight, could you reroute the vehicles down through?
Oh, yeah, it would be
And
easy
stuff.
enough to close that off and just reroute them around, because what happened, we actually, the way I understand this, now this, some of you may can correct me on this, but the way I understand it, we got that segment of road from 95 to 282 back when they were going to close that road, say it was going to close that road because of that bridge. They traded it to us or gave it to the city, and the city put in a wooden bridge, the wooden structure that's there. And so thus far, we kept it open. What's happened, it's not that the bridge is not structurally fit. The bridge,
That weight limit.
the weight limit is being reduced because of the asphalt that we've had to put on it to make it, you know, when we put the asphalt on it this last time, that actually applied weight to it that reduced the amount of load bearing weight that it could take across it. So that's what's happened with that. And so it's not a structure that's not safe. It's just, it doesn't have the weight bearing capacity that it once did. And we know the type of traffic that comes on that bridge. And so that's one of the reasons that we feel like but you're right, it was a preemptive. We really didn't mean to do it that time. We just want to bring it to your attention. And the foresight of going ahead, we've been able to get in there quicker, you know, and everybody hadn't been tied off on these big road projects out here on 24 and others might have gotten us to that point. Unfortunately, we're just now getting all of our permits back because of all the Army Corps of Engineer permits and everything else. So,
You know,
It seems logical to me to put it on hold.
yeah, people who use the areas, we really don't pay attention to the yard signs, to the highway signs like we should, but the state's already rerouted the official highway out in front of Raleigh Electric to that corner. And then we elected that we wanted to keep that flow. And so that's our segment of road. I think it's an important segment of road.
Is that bridge across the dredge ditch on 282?
Cypress Creek
I'm sorry,
goes across Cypress Creek.
Cypress Creek, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the same.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That's
clarification.
that's a really straight section of Cypress Creek as a result of being dredged, right? So,
Yeah.
About 1990.
yeah. So that's the bridge we're talking about. So it's still open to traffic in general, out in our industrial neighborhood, and it's badged appropriately. The drivers who drive those big rigs are supposed to be able to recognize the bridge weight limits before they go into them. We haven't really got any big notice of any failures of that bridge. Bottom line is that these two bids, we're not going to award either one of them at this time. So we're going to reject any and all. And that's where we're going to stand. So we've got some important budgetary talks to do, making those choices between paving at a reduced rate and maybe trying to wait out some. I mean, it's the price of oil. I mean, I'm pretty ignorant about that, but asphalt is oil. And so where's the price of a barrel of oil going to go in the next 2 years with all the world events that we have going on? So we need to, when we get into the budget conversation, see how we're going to deal with this one. But in acutely on this bridge, the recommendation is that we don't award either one. Okay.
Are we rolling this over to potentially the next time, or just a budget conversation for later? I mean, that's quite a bit to get back.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one of these. I mean, it'd be a capital project thing that's in the budget, didn't get executed. And we'll have to see amongst everything else we need to accomplish, whether we want to try to build it in this time or what.
Well,
You have 3 other ways to get into the plants,
that's correct.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got
or really 4 if you came down.
Oak Park Boulevard, you
Yeah.
got 95, and then you have the ability to go across 282
Right.
to make the connections, as well as coming in 1523 on the far end.
And it's all state highway.
So, I mean, it's not that it's gonna be, and we're gonna talk to the state about putting some more signage up. Sir,
There's a whole lot of new businesses in that area. too.
Absolutely.
that's
That
correct.
is
And that's an important part. Yeah.
that is a very important part to keep them new businesses afloat too.
But they have access out to 282 as well, so.
They do.
I agree with you, Kevin.
And I'm just,
Smith Lane, that ain't the best of roads. And
No,
yeah, and my suggestion is just saying that there are other avenues if we had to use them, not that that's not important.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is,
absolutely.
Oh, I agree. I'm not arguing that. I'm just stating that
I'm
fact.
glad you said that because I didn't know that.
There's several new businesses and I think 2 more have opened up in the past 2 months in there.
Donnie Travis has been doing a lot of development down through there, and a lot of businesses have relocated into the city from outside the city. So that's been a blessing too.
Okay. Transitioning on down the agenda. Blair, are you ready for a marketing director's report? Sure.
Pass it.
Take one down and pass it around.
Split in half. Going around right now is the activity guide for
Take 3 or
2022.
4 while you're at it.
Hand 'em out. It has all of the activities for the rest of the year in there. I took them to Shoparama and to Sunshine Pools and Spas and Food Giant. They're all handing them out for me. And we've got a box up front here at City Hall in case you want more. You can grab some on your way out. I wanted to talk first about a couple events that are happening. We have paint night in the park coming up on May 26th. And it is, you pre-register online. It's going to be at the Civic Center. It's $10. And that includes all the supplies. Victoria, she is the artist, and we're going to do kind of a summer spring theme. So that should be fun. We had like 37 at the last paint night. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that. It's going to be inside this time. Last time we did it outside. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Economic Development Conference and I really learned a lot and brought a lot of good information home. So I'm excited about that. And let's see, with the Yard of the Season, the next deadline for that is July 1st. And we'll do the judging probably right after 4th of July. So you can get your nominations in by July the 1st. The next deadline for the Youth Voice is June the 1st. And we'll get those in if you know anybody. And at the end of last month, we did a hotel feasibility study. And Core Distinction came down and looked at our properties, looked at our hotels that we have currently, and looked at the data that the hotels that she can pull on her end. And so I expect to get the feasibility study back this week. Hopefully, we did a windshield tour 2 weeks ago, and she said it would be about 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll hear back from that. And what that will give us is opportunity to have material that proves that we can handle a hotel. Then whenever you reach out to investors, or if investors come to you, you have that data to back up that is, it is possible. She did leave happy and was very confident that she could see some potential here. So, and super impressed, as usually any visitor that comes to Calvert is. One thing coming up in June, and I've mentioned it the last 3 months, is the community planning session for the Tennessee River Line. And it is June the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And I talked to John this morning, and I agreed with what he said, because originally they had it scheduled for the 8th. They would come in, that's a Wednesday, and just traveling, getting here, getting checked in. Then on the 9th, they would have our leadership our leadership discussion. And they had it from 1 to 5 p.m. And that's on a Thursday. So I know everybody works. And then they had on Friday the community planning. So there's really no easy way to plan this so that everyone can be here. And John suggested maybe having the community development on Thursday from 1 to 5, and then from 6 to 8 on Thursday. So it's one long day on Thursday, but it keeps us from not having anything on Friday. Because, low turnout, who wants to come to a meeting on Friday? But that also changes it too, because we have a paddle event scheduled for Saturday. So that means that they won't have anything on Friday to do, and then have to wait until Saturday. So logistically, it's very confusing. And I'd like to know your guys' input as far as if you can attend, because if 1 to 5 on a Thursday is not possible for all of you, then we need to make some changes anyway. Would be on the 10th. 8th, 9th. 9th,
Thursday's
sorry.
the 9th.
The 9th.
Thursday's the 9th.
I'm on summer vacation. I'm all yours.
Where will that session be? Here at the Civic Center?
It's at the Civic Center. Both the leadership, local leadership, and then the community will be at Calvert, or the Civic Center.
So how many people will be in the entourage from Tennessee River Line? Have you got a good idea of the number?
Between 7 and 9, or
Okay.
10, but they said 7 and 9. What's going to happen is be on the 8th. This is how it's set for right now. On the 8th of June, they get here, they check into their hotel, sleep, get up. On the 9th, we'll have our windshield tour. So we'll have volunteers will drive through, give them a tour of the city so that they can kind of get an idea of the lay of the land. Take them to Haddock's Ferry and take them to the boat ramp so they can see the river access that we currently have. And then the leadership team would be that afternoon from 1 to 5. Then the evening would be theirs, open. Then on Friday, all day we would have open. And I'd suggested to Jean that we take them for a boat ride, and maybe have them experience what it's like to walk through the dam, because they're sending people down the river 652 miles, and to be able to experience what it's like to walk through the dam would be beneficial to when they're talking to people. And Kentucky Dam is definitely the most intimidating dam on the Tennessee River. So that's on Friday. They would maybe go for a boat ride. Maybe Captain Colburn could take us.
And others.
And others, yeah. And then that evening we would have the community planning. So that would be from 6 to 8. Then on Saturday, we would get up and have pancakes and paddles, do a little paddling, have a little pancakes, thinking about just going to Kentucky Dam, if they have breakfast that morning. And so we do a little paddling, about 30, 45 minutes, and then we kind of have a recap of, what happened that week and what was discussed, and then they go home. So we're done by noon. So that's what it's scheduled for right now.
Okay,
Um,
so I guess the question to us is Thursday from 1 to 5, how many people would be available to visit
right.
with them? I'm in.
I've got to
Canary's in,
check.
Rouse
I'm
in.
not sure if I'm gonna be here.
Is it an all or nothing type thing or like? Would you need?
No, I mean, I'd love to have everybody here, but
Well, I meant like all, would you need me there at 1 or could I get there? a little later?
no, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out on any of that. They got middle of shutdown. That's the middle of a shutdown.
Oh, no.
Well,
And I mean, you can't plan things if I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Understood.
would make it, but.
Yeah.
Somebody's got me scheduled 12 hours a day,
Only.
and Chris probably.
And then the other thing is if you come to the community planning, we need to know ahead of time so we can do a special call if there's gonna be more than 3 of you
Ah,
guys there.
yeah.
okay.
You
So,
just need to know upfront if you're gonna be able to make it, so we can send that notice out, so we don't get in a bind.
Okay, so it sounds like 2 no day that week's gonna work for you guys.
No, it doesn't matter.
And everybody else,
I don't
a
know.
maybe, a good strong maybe, or,
I'm
okay,
available
and then
too.
we got 3, I'll be there.
Later, we'll have to do it for both of them now, honestly.
yeah,
We have a form at both of them, we'll
Right.
have to do that as well, so. But
Hmm.
yeah, just so we know what we're working with.
so if we have it an all day Thursday, then it'll all be in the civic center. So I don't know if you have to do do you have to do 2 different ones?
No, you can actually carry
It's
it
just
for the
all
full
in one
amount, yeah,
day?
yeah, you can
Okay.
do the whole thing.
So then on Friday, I know you guys select kayaks, maybe I can because the worry is that nobody's gonna show up for the kayak on Friday at 8 AM.
Oh, Saturday,
Uh,
Saturday or Friday?
If we have everything on Thursday,
Uh-huh,
they're gonna go home on Friday.
okay,
So we'll have the paddle event Friday morning.
I got you.
And then we probably won't do a boat ride. It kind of messes everything up, but I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know what to do, what the best option is. I agree that, with John, that we'll probably have a better crowd on Thursday. But it also limits the,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Activities.
Originally, I was concerned that the evening with the community was not gonna work on Friday, because on Fridays, you're just at your start of your weekend, and so people are
Exactly.
not gonna wanna come to that, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Maybe or maybe not, if they're already involved, I'm thinking that I might rather go to 2 different ones than I don't know whether I'll be here or not, so, but than I would to go from 1 until 8 that night.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like, whether you're gonna do a supper break or whatever, and then that would open up. And if you've
You
got
guys
the-
are the only ones that would be there for that long of a time.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
okay.
so
1 to
let's
5.
go. So we
The
got 2 that-
community is
2
just
that
from
are
6
out.
to 8.
Either day is
Okay.
good for
Oh,
you,
okay,
Thursday or
gotcha, I
Friday.
got you.
Tanara, either day, Thursday or Friday, good for you either way.
Oh, I'm on summer vacation.
Okay,
I was just saying.
If
may
I
not be
just
there right
can
at
get
the
like,
morning.
I don't need a lot of kayakers.
Hey,
If I can just get like
Ralph,
3 or 4
Ralph,
kayakers to do Friday, then I'm good.
I think that the remaining council is good with either day you choose.
Okay, well,
and,
if you're okay with that, then we'll
just-
just do all day Thursday. And then on Friday morning, we'll do a boat ride, and if we want a kayak, we can, but I think I would rather do the boat ride.
Well,
I would like to do boat ride.
when do you have to finalize this?
Probably tomorrow,
Okay,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought I had it.
No pressure.
Thought I had it finalized, but yeah.
yeah.
Well,
It's
that is,
confusing.
and as far as locking through, I mean, will they do 1 boat or will they want you
I
to
wondered about
have
that.
several?
We've got to check on that. I
Yeah,
think
that's something we'll
'cause
check
I
on.
thought
I think
usually
that's-
they waited till they.
pleasure boats are supposed to take,
Blair, I'll have a direct contact for that.
Supposed to be able to do it one
If
day.
you want to ask.
I'll ask him for you.
That would be great.
Let's see if we can get
the
through.
direct
I just
contact,
need to know what the rules are.
What kind of boat would you be taking through?
Pontoon.
And then get the
multiple pontoons.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a quick thing,
Well,
you know.
pontoon
No,
is
no.
fine.
If you're gonna lock-
We may have to rent one. I've got one.
Yeah.
Norwan's got one. We can round up some
all day.
pontoons. If we can't, we'll get
That's
one.
all day.
You may want to go.
Okay,
with
and
the-
then,
So you're gonna get an
uh,
answer for that
Ferry.
on
I'll
Q?
text you
One
right
way.
after the meeting.
Okay.
the last thing that I have, just real quickly, we are partnering with the Frisk Center. It's called New Beginnings Summer Camp. I had this crazy idea, and Beth Baker, bless her lovely heart, she's awesome, and she just ran with it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cap it off at 30 students, but it's July 18th through the 22nd. And these students are students that may be misguided or quote unquote at risk students. And those students will be able to, they're going into their freshman year. So they're going to experience what it's like a week before school starts at the high school. They're going to meet all of their teachers. They're going to take a tour of the high school. They're going to meet different people in the community. But the biggest thing that we're partnering with is that we're partnering Calvert City businesses with these students. So there's 7 different pathways into Marshall County where you choose, like Marshall County High School. So electrical, construction, welding, arts,
Culinary.
engineering, all those pathways. Culinary, yes.
We all like to eat.
So what we're doing is we're taking Calvert City businesses and
There's-
we're going to do like day trips. So we go and we visit like Bacher. We're gonna go visit Bacher, do a plant tour, talk a little bit about what they do there and what careers can come out of working there. And then like Studio 270, we're gonna do a tour of that. But all of them are Calvert businesses. We're partnering together with this. And I really, I talked to Tim about this earlier, to include the airport and becoming a pilot, on how to become a pilot. And Tim had a great suggestion about making sure to include that airport mechanic in there too.
Yes.
Because and I didn't even think about that. But anyway, it's going to be an awesome experience. I'm excited about it. And that's in July. And then the other thing that we're partnering with the library is
Who's your partner on that one?
this is the Frisk Center.
Okay.
How are you
Family
advertising
resource.
that? Using family resources to give it to the children?
Yes,
Okay.
family, yeah,
That would make
they're doing
sense.
all, the only thing I'm doing is connecting the businesses to them. So Yeah.
Calvert City Sharpeville.
it is all of the, so this is high school, 9th grade, the 9th graders, yeah. And then the other thing that we're partnering with is a summer reading series at the library. They have it every year, and this year we're gonna have it at the amphitheater. It's, I think, May 21st. So all the kids can come down to the park and do a little bit of reading and have a good time.
Frisk Center's at Tennessee.
Frisk, no, it's Family Resource Center.
Oh, that, okay, because I was thinking there is a Frisk Center in Tennessee.
Down to do.
Oh, no, Family Resource Center. Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
the family.
It's all, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
and this is for the high school.
Yeah.
Okay, those
Yeah.
going into 9th grade.
Those going into 9th grade. Yeah.
I had never heard it.
Okay.
I've never heard that word applied that way.
Oh,
Did you get any feedback on the mountain bike folks that visited it?
I mean, they had a great time.
Had a great time.
I got a thank you letter.
All right.
So, but I mean, they always enjoy their time here, and they're excited about the trail.
Oh, yeah. When I told them about the trail back there behind Calvert Elementary being an entry level trail, that had been identified as a big gap. So how do you get somebody started in mountain biking? You don't take them to the canal loop and say, hey, we're going to ride around this. So you got to start somewhere. And that was an identified gap, and it just kind of fell in our lap. And I don't know how far along we are toward getting an official opening of that at some point.
I mean, it's gonna be dry this week. So.
Okay.
Maybe
Mother
soon.
Nature is
And,
our holdup.
Yeah, on a lot of things, right? So
Playground equipment. Forgot that up here.
playground restrictions.
Playground
Well,
equipment.
that's, we'll leave you what's coming.
I have to wait on comment.
Yeah, so one of the things that occurs to me, and it's a challenge, I think they got like 20 some odd mountain bikers that are involved in our school team in Marshall County. So how do you get everybody who needs a mountain bike own a mountain bike? And there's a lot of individuals around that try to help that, to make sure everybody's interested, has a chance to get with a competitive piece of equipment. And so that's an ongoing challenge. I talked to some of the folks about that. And I remember when we went through paying for a saxophone, and we pulled off the little coupon and paid on it for a long time, it seemed, before that dude's paid off. I'm not sure you can do that with biking equipment. But that's a challenge for the mountain bike bunch, but,
Sex on she with a bicycle.
yeah, the competitive bikes, you're talking probably three to four to get in the front door. And that's a pretty high challenge for a lot of the folks, a lot of the youth that would benefit from that greatly. So stay tuned on that. I don't know if we'll have an opportunity to maybe do something. Do I?
I can give golf clubs. I got plenty of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, where we at? So that's marketing director's project report. So John. Okay. Projects.
All right. Bank building update. I've talked with Chastain Associates and we're utilizing their structural engineer to come in. He's going to do assessment of the building, give us what's it going to take to get it where it needs to be, and give us some kind of estimate on that so that we can come back at that point in time and know what we need to actually budget if we want to budget. So what all I'm budgeting right now is for their services at the moment. Then we'll know what we've got based on that. Haddock's Ferry. The county has blessed us with Haddock's Ferry, but in reality, it actually has been ours for all this time, and we didn't know that. Apparently, the county has been maintaining it, but no longer.
Did they have picnic tables or something? They took away their picnic tables?
Yes.
Okay. I was remembering
They
this
took away
right.
the picnic tables, yeah. They were
There-
county property.
There is a
So-
lease, there's a lease between Calvert City and Arkema, and there was a county park established. And then last summer, right after we got done with the budgeting activity, we got a letter from the county says, that's not ours. And not only did they say that wasn't theirs, the letter went on to say that they didn't have the rights to it.
Yeah.
Which needed some sorting out. And so,
So-
yes, they did take some picnic tables. Well, I think they took the grill and the trash cans too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so we have been mowing it since.
That's not the big issue in this one right here. Right now, that is undermining terribly, and it's in serious condition. And so we've talked with HDR, and we're gonna do an emergency bank stabilization. So that means we're gonna have to rip wrap underneath there to keep that from sloughing off and creating a problem with the shelter that is there. Because
I see some puzzled looks. The shelter that's there is up against that bank. And they're,
50-foot bank or 60.
I'm not sure what it is, but the erosion of the bank is getting very close to the edge of that structure. And so the HDR report, but that's something too that I think I mentioned it to this group before, is our partnership with Tennessee River Line. Can we turn that into a lot of the folks that have river access up and down the 652-mile stretch? What kind of ideas they have for redevelopment? But in the meantime, this job is to.
we'll have to do an emergency stabilization. We can actually get, from what I understand, an emergency stabilization permit from the Corps. But that's only to do a certain area to keep it from sloughing worse. Anything beyond that would have to be permitted, but in that particular case, to protect what's there, we can get an emergency permit on that, so. For
Got any
that, for that
cost?
purpose only.
Cost estimates on,
I don't have one yet. Sorry, I don't have one yet, so we're still working on that, so I hope to have something next time. If it's not outrageous, it'd probably be something we'll just fill with a budget, but I'll let you know what that is. If it gets to be a high dollar item, then I'm definitely coming back here to let you all know before we do it. Okay.
But the
I
problem,
just don't want to.
the problem with long-term development side is Lloyd just observed, sometimes it's at a 90-foot bank or a 60-foot bank, and sometimes it's a negative 4.5-foot bank, depending on the river level.
Time to river front.
Yeah, so
But you-
There are
often-
grants available through the US Wildlife.
Put your feet in the water.
there's a lot of stuff available out there. I think it begs for the master plan is what you need. So the emergency stabilization, along with the price estimate of that, I think it is very critical. So it's an asset down there. It's gorgeous down there. Not every community has it. I think that's, that section between Kentucky Dam and Paducah is like the last section of Tennessee River.
I was down there a couple of weeks ago and there's at least 20 cars parked there.
There's a lot of river work happening.
I figured it's people working for it.
If you need, I don't think you will need anything from Arkema in that, I can help you out.
But we need to keep Arkema. Arkema
Yes.
owns land and there's a lease in place and it's a very long lease. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, like
I
over
definitely-
50 years, like 99, I've got a copy of it. So there's, we've got that sewed down. Arkham is all about letting us access down there. And there's a few questions that they want to be exposed to. And even on this emergency stabilization plan, we'll make sure. Yeah.
You all know the problems we've had with the garbage truck this year. And not just the new one or the old one, but the new one. And we've had trouble with both of them and continue to have trouble with them. Brad's come across an opportunity to obtain a chassis. Brad, you want to tell them about that?
Yeah,
Come on up here so they, folks. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
well, the issue we have is like everything else. Can't find trucks, can't find parts. It's just a bad time to get business or have anything to work with. I've had tag trucks and they're looking for, well, since January, trying to find us a truck. And there's none to be had. What I've been told is basically could be up to 2 years. before we get them. We have in the past purchased from municipal equipment out of Louisville. I've had them searching also. And possibly they found it. So it's went up quite a bit. I think we get what, 185.
$185 is exactly
I think that's what it was, 185,000 for the last one. This one, we're about 230 for the same truck. But
But they've got the chassis.
yeah,
And then that would include the bed, but the bed, even if we ordered it now, they've got the truck. But even if they order it now, it's gonna be close to Christmas before we get it because of because of the bed. So our thought is because we actually have access instead of having to wait so long. And of course, we won't have to pay for this until it comes in. So that means next year's budget. And we've already got it posted in the budget. But we kind of wanted to know if you guys would go along with us going ahead and moving forward with this, with trying to find that truck or trying to lock in a truck so that we don't wind up on a 2-year waiting list instead of just a 9-month waiting list.
We're all for it. I'm all for it. I see heads nodding. That was why I said wait.
So tell us about the chassis. Is it a new one or
yes, it is a new one.
so is it gonna be a twin to what you got?
No, it'll actually be a Freightliner that has their on the master contract, I guess.
The 106.
So, which works out good because we have somewhere to get work on. close.
Right.
So, and the last one we have is, it's caused me a lot of trouble and I don't want to go back that route.
Okay.
But yeah, this actually we just kind of let the cross this truck. So hopefully they haven't sold it out from under our guy. Maybe we could,
Go on, tell him now.
I see a lot of nodding heads. I
Call
don't
right
see
now.
a single
Yeah.
shaking head.
I wanted to make sure we talked to you all before we move forward on this, but I thought it would be the proper thing to do if at all.
And if you had to pay for it, we could amend the budget, couldn't we?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
mean, even, there's a possibility might have found me one over here, but it's 2 years old. And I said, well, we're gonna do a discount. No.
No, they're not discounting
The
anything.
demand for these trucks right now is crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
there's
So
not
you're
much-
recommending we do it and I see a lot of nodding heads. I don't see anybody shaking no. Okay.
If you want a new truck, I would say we better jump on.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Judy?
we'll
All right.
move forward. I just want to hear it from you guys.
So
if
let's
we're okay.
jump.
And We'll,
Merry Christmas.
we'll do what we need to do to make sure we're moving in the right direction. By procurement standards as well. This could, I don't know if this could, I don't know, I'll talk to you about some of the other issues tomorrow, if that's okay. All right. And the last but not least.
So thank you for
Sorry.
the proactive approach on.
Yes, very
Well,
much.
We've had really bad luck this year with the trucks. So
Okay.
both trucks were down,
And it seemed like one's down all the time. It has been, it just,
I actually need to take our new one back right now. and
Exactly.
get Worked on. But we're using it as it is. It's just.
Okay.
It's never ending problem. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
now amongst all that bad news, the good news is tomorrow Miracle will be on site to start layout of the playground. So.
Is that,
Booyah.
it's a miracle?
Yeah.
It
It's a
is,
miracle.
it's a miracle.
So we go from
Mother
rain,
Nature gave us a day or two, so
So-
we're trying to work on it.
from
So,
rainy monsoon to 90-degree weather.
Welcome to Kentucky.
so I talked to.
They're gonna lay out
I talked to her this morning.
two structures.
Huh?
They're gonna lay out 2 structures.
Yeah, if they can get them both in, part of that on the far toward the center is still a little soft. I don't know if how far they're gonna be able to get with it. They're gonna try to get them all in.
But they're in. The
They're-
parts are here.
I'm
They're
no, I
not
was
coming,
just
they're not still
smiling
coming
'cause
in.
We're
I'm
talking about
thinking,
He's talking about fitting in a dry spot at
I'm
this point.
thinking 90-degree temperatures. We just go pray they really dry up fast.
That and a good breeze, that
Yes.
always helps too. But I talked to her this morning. She said, I told you were next on the list. She said, I've done turned down 3 people this morning, waiting for your phone call. I said, all right, there it is. So they're supposed to be in here tomorrow. The guys will be in here about 10 or 10:30. The guys are gonna take the equipment down in the morning, have it ready for them. And they got contact with a concrete company to try to set up for that.
I know 2 little kids that live behind me that'll be thrilled.
So, again, our material, our safety material will be wash rock as it has been in the past. That's the one safety piece of safety material that does not hold on to microbial bacteria. So with the flood waters that we get down there and stuff, it doesn't hold the microbial bacteria, they say. So
I just want to say that our old fashioned merry-go-round didn't seem to mind the water. Just throwing, you know how I feel about that. Throwing that in there.
That equipment was built to stay for a long time.
Yes.
as far as going. Like what else? Well, other than trying to get a budget workshop date set up, I can't think of anything else at the moment. Brad, am I forgetting something?
Pickleball.
What's the last
Pickleball, right now,
pickle update?
I've talked with Murray Paving, who got the bid for the place, for the pad, and possibly this week or next week is what he was telling me. So the fencing, they're still waiting on the fencing, but this company was able to get the green. It's just gonna take a little bit longer than the black vinyl, but it keeps us with the same fencing that we have everywhere else, instead of having something odd. And then Mr. Roberts is the one that's gonna be doing the net and the layout of the actual courts on there. Electrical, we've got the conduit in place, the light pole bases are up, and so we're waiting for the electrician to get in there and start pulling wire, so. That's where we are there.
All right, any other projects? Airport update. We got a phone a friend going on here.
If you can hear me,
Can you hear us?
yes. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm not present for the meeting physically, but I was traveling around Vermont and I brought one thing back, and that is some friends that called me afterwards and told me they had COVID. So, I'm trying to stay away from people, which most people enjoy anyway. So work continues on the master plan project. We're actively pursuing that. We have some deadlines in July that we are cognizant of, and we want to follow and make sure that we get that done. And while we're working, we continue dialogue with the Federal Aviation Administration. They have a different view on the amount of planning effort that M34 deserves. And right now we disagree with them. And that, again, then the state agrees with us to disagree with the FAA. And that dialogue continues, but it has not affected the work that we're doing to date. So that process continues. In the meantime, John has moved to initiate an independent fee review, which will go a long ways toward convincing the FAA that we're on the right track. That's all I have.
That's all?
That's all.
Well, hope you get feeling better. If you're
Oh, I
feeling,
feel fine. It's the people I was with that had COVID. So far testing negative.
okay, well, we're happy you've kept to yourself.
He just messed 2034.
But thanks for the update.
So far, so good.
Thank you for having me once again.
All right. Okay.
I do have a question on the projects. The prop project at the fire training center. Where we stand on that?
Well, the language we're putting together, have you?
The engineer, I was out and then in, now Deanne's out, but the engineer or the guy that's supposed to
Dustin.
put together the specs, the scope of the project. I think he got that to me one day last week.
Mhm.
So,
He has.
okay, so that's what they're waiting on is for you to look at what he sent me.
Please look at
Let me
it.
put that high on the list.
Would you please put that high on the list, because it's just like everything else, the prices and stuff just keep going up, and so the price of that project is gonna keep going up. If we had, and they had somebody, I think once you approve it, with somebody lined up, let's get it done.
What project did you ask about?
Prop project at the fire training center.
What's the prop, Tim?
Refurbishing the old semi tank car.
Like a leak.
to make it a leak simulator.
Yeah, similar.
What it is, it's gonna have at the back of it, I'm not sure how many, 4 or 5 different valves, and each valve will control separate leak in the tank. Each leak will have its own line run to it with a hole or pan or whatever you want to call it, that will hold the water that will stimulate the leak. That way you don't have to fill the whole tank, you just fill the one container. It serves 2 purposes: saves water and also helps on freezing and it busting.
So it's a hazmat training prop
Hazmat training.
around that old, okay.
Yeah. I think we did get rid of the, supposedly, got the rail car sold.
$2,500.
Hey,
Whoa, nice.
$2,500 on good there.
Somebody did want it.
Somebody bought it as a rail car?
I don't know if they bought it for rail car, but they bought it for $2,500.
Don't care.
They got 2 weeks to get it out of there. One way or another.
Do you have their money?
Huh?
Do you have their money?
Not until they pick it up.
Not till they pick
They'll
it up.
pick it up, yeah.
If I may add something to that, it's not to do with the project, but we hosted the Jackson Purchase Firefighter School, and that was one of the busier places. And we had some people in here in the eastern part of the state, and they were very, very impressed. They, I don't want to say this. They were kind of surprised, I guess would be the way to put it, that we had something like that here. It's probably better than anything the state has in their training facility or anything like that. They were very surprised and very pleased. And, you know, we told them that we were always trying to make it better and all that. I'm in the process right now of trying to get a burn building. It's kind of difficult. There's no specs out here to go by. So if they just hit or miss, which that could be good, but it could be bad too. You don't have to get it approved through the state, just the ventilation and all that. But I seen what's called a flash over trailer here in fire school, and it could build something like that for a burn house, it will be very, not easy, but it will be very doable. We already have the Connex boxes that we would make it out of, donated. We just gotta get them moved and get them over there. And get it, permits and all that, to get it done.
So,
You can simulate smoke in a house, but really need to put people in a live fire to find out if they're gonna make it, is my intention.
so the Calvert City Fire Training Center is, it's out there. It's a great cooperative effort, and it's been kind of brought back to life with a great, those who've seen it, it looks a lot better than it did. It gets positive comments. Had a burn building down there before, it was condemned, got some existing pads that I think we can use. And so Tim, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Let's see. Okay, well, before I put everybody on the spot for kind of a report around, does anybody else on council have any specific project questions? No.
I guess, have we heard any more going out the road going from Fifth Avenue out along Valley Road?
Oh, yeah, we are actually, they've done the appraisals, and the appraisals were submitted to the state for their review and authority to move forward. So
That's the homeowners? Last time I
no,
talked
well,
about-
they had an appraiser, state appraiser, certified appraiser come out and appraise the issue, the areas that we needed.
Right
Yes,
away.
and they've submitted those appraisals to
Okay,
the state for their
So-
review.
That's the cost of the right of way acquisition, right?
Mhm.
okay, that's what-
But they haven't given it, they haven't
Been a
approved
long
that yet,
time.
given us the move forward. And we also extended the TAP fund. They've added a new individual that's running the TAP program, or I don't know if he was retired or what. We've got a new person that's running the TAP program. And she seemed to be just as taxed as the one previous
This
was.
project is generational.
Yeah, they just moved it from one person to another, and
But you do detect movement.
yes, there is
Good,
movement.
good.
There's definitely movement. Let's leave it at that. It's movement.
But last
Positive movement.
time you mentioned that I thought they were contacting property owners, so they
Well, they have to contact them to,
buy the.
well, I guess they're doing an appraisal, so I don't know if they contact them necessarily or not.
Well,
They will for
appraisal,
purchase.
they will for purchase.
So the purchase they will, yes. And the state says they would do that for us. Because they got people that are trained for that.
All right, so we don't have any more project questions. Brad, you got anything else to talk about other than your dump truck? Okay,
Brad, I have something for you. We've had some folks ask about draining issues down Lake and Karen. I have exact addresses to give you if you need them, but they have requested riprap or something to dig out and clean out those ditches, because there's a couple of houses where I guess they're having issues with a lot of standing water. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
anything else to add? No? All right. Tim?
Our one new person that we voted on, she passed her basic 20, so she is able to do some things now, which that's making her a whole lot happier. We voted another person on Monday night. That is going, she makes a free meeting, to be part of us. That'll give us two ladies.
Two ladies.
And one guy that is coming back, that took a leave of absence while he went to paramedic school. He wants to come back. So we're hopefully gonna get up to full strength again.
Would he be added to your medical responder?
Yes,
All right,
yes.
so the medical
He won't
response,
be able to do his paramedic skills, but he'll be able to do his.
I got you.
Basic EMT stuff.
because of
I
the,
don't know. but that's
one of
not
those
my-
things.
That's not my place. We've had some first responders calls. That's where we're busiest at right now. But we are getting into a busier season with traffic, so. Holding up on our traffic control and things like that.
Well, Mike, welcome to your first council meeting in a new role. You got anything to add as far as departmental wise? Put you on the spot? Are you gonna defer or go up front? Tim, you didn't get up and come up front.
I just want to say that it's an honor to be able to serve in the capacity that I have been for the last week or so, and it's been humbling for me. It's a lot of community support out for me, and I appreciate that. As far as the police department, we plan on moving forward with the same mission that we've always had. We are currently accepting applications, so we'd like to get another certified officer on board as soon as possible, so we can get the schedules back to normal, get everyone back in the groove of working again in the ways that they are used to. And I just want to say thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. All right. Do have some news on I think that most people might be aware, Silas Trailer has resigned from the water and sewer. And so we were finalizing plans to make sure we don't miss a beat on our required reporting and duty and activities. And working with the water and sewer board and leadership to do the job posting and seek his replacement. But make sure, immediately that we don't have a gap on anything. We keep everything in place. I think we've got a pretty good interim plan, and we'll be moving forward with that. Join me in wishing Mr. Trailer luck with his next endeavor. With that,
I just a clarification, like if the water board is an advisory board,
Mhm.
if they're still gonna put out the application to hire him.
well, we're going, I don't know how we're going to do the selection of that yet, Nita.
Because
The water board is, we went
not
over.
arguing the fact. I
No,
just-
that's fine.
it's-
Yeah, it's a confusing thing. I mean, it's since that ordinance has been redone and the restructuring of that, if you will. And now we've got a need of a new leader for the department. So there's going to be some conversations going on about what each of the roles are. The water board's budget is pretty big this time. We've got a $14 million desire for a new water plant that needs to get some wheels under it and move forward. There's an urgent need in the budget that when we set the budget workshop, you'll see what that is. And for booster station and 75% of our water customers are industrial clients and know more about what the needs are there. So there's some challenges and a lot of bigger picture things that we need to get the board focused on. So that's all I have to add to that. It's unfortunate Silas, he had some other career paths he chose to take a look at, and great opportunities for his family.
Wherever he's going, they're very lucky to have him.
There you go.
Absolutely.
He's a very diligent guy. We had a meeting in here with the engineering firm and him and going through each of our capital projects and what the handoff is on each of those. So it is what it is. So wish him luck. He's going to be a Calvert City resident for a long time. He's pledged to support in the transition period. So.
When is his resignation?
Is it Friday?
This Friday.
Yep.
Will be his last day.
Okay. You got anything in particular? No? No? Ralph?
No.
Okay. Kevin?
There's no suspense out for hot air yet. They're going out tomorrow. I'll get yours mowed. I got a kid that come mow and charge you. That ain't a problem.
Sure. Okay. All right. And saving the best for last. We've got to work out a budget workshop and we need a date. And would you like to propose one, John? We'll see how we can do it.
Last full week of this month might be the best option. Unfortunately, we've got Glenda's not available.
So
I was thinking it'd be the week after, the fourth week of the month.
the week of the
I was
23rd.
thinking Wednesday or Thursday of that week, because Monday and Tuesday both, we've got already preset meetings. We got cemetery on Monday. We've got Board of Adjustments on Tuesday that week, and then Wednesday and Thursday, the two open days.
You talking 25th, 26th?
Wednesday's
I
better.
believe that's
for me.
correct.
Wednesday be better for me too.
Wednesday would be better. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not available Wednesday or Thursday of that week.
Oh, you're not?
Could we not meet in a different location if somebody else is having a meeting? Or the other committees, I mean. would you-
Well, I mean, that staff will have to pull off. I generally am at all those meetings that we're talking about. I mean,
Could you,
I mean, the
Like
country,
miss-
the country gas has a back room. open.
There you go.
I have no complaints. That's okay with me.
I mean, if we had to
I
do it,
think-
I'm just saying if we
Well,
maybe.
Let me talk to the cemetery chair and see if we can, get that Monday night.
On the 18th?
Yeah. No,
23rd.
23rd.
23rd, 25th, 26th, I can do either. I can do
23rd, Monday. Ralph, you good for Monday, the 23rd?
Okay, let me see if I can talk to, Miss Jordan and see if we can pull
Okay.
that off.
Monday, the
Work for everybody?
23rd. Monday, the 23rd. I like it.
Okay.
Denner, you good?
I don't know. It's graduation.
It won't affect graduation.
13.
I think it'll be okay.
May the 23rd at 5:30.
We better jack it up. It's a-
Uh,
Okay, but-
The very next
Five.
question.
I'll make
What's
it
for
five.
chow?
What do you guys want for
What do
dinner?
you want to eat? Any suggestions?
You want us to just deal with it, or do you got any suggestions for me?
A local restaurant.
Don't even.
A local restaurant. There
we
you
can
go.
do that.
Okay.
We trying to do that.
How about J-Max?
Okay.
On Monday, Jim Max is an open on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right, a lot of them not-
Damn.
What now?
Crap.
Nothing's open. We'll figure something out.
Oh, that's true.
Mexico and Cracker Barrel.
We gotta make a run. We gotta make a run.
We'll figure something out. We'll come up with something. Okay. So everybody's good with that day. That's good.
I don't know if he does that small, but Larry Witt might do something.
Who?
That'd be pretty, yeah. You can ask Larry.
Larry.
Okay.
Magic Valley, man, he does good work.
I don't know if he do anything that small, but that's.
Okay. Unless there's something else, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Oh,
Have a
I-
second?
Damn it, Jeremy. Jeremy stole my thunder.
Got a motion and a second.
Man, I'm
All in
mad,
favor?
man.
Aye. Okay, adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Last week when that was supposed to be standing for
That's my whole, that's my whole.
Thanks,
list.
everyone.
All over you.
Man, he stole my
The
thunder.
guy has
man.
one
That's
thing.
right. My pen was right.
I'm usually the second guy.
Man.
Dang.
Man.
Can we call the water, the Board of Public Utilities something besides water board?
Yeah, right.
I like it.
He fusses it.